Chances are that you've ever caught yourself drowning in negative thoughts, like, I'm not good enough, or everything always goes wrong for me, or I'm gonna mess up that presentation, and suddenly you're convinced everyone hates you, you'll fail school, and your whole life is ruined. Your brain just took one tiny thought and turned it into a disaster movie. What if I told you there's a proven way to stop those thought spirals before they take over? A method that can actually change how your brain works, backed by decades of research and used by millions of people worldwide. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short. And today, I'm going to explain exactly what cognitive behavioral therapy is, how it works, and why it's one of the most effective mental health tools we have. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, or just everyday stress, understanding CBT can be a game changer for your mental health and personal growth. Today, you'll understand cognitive behavioral therapy and how it works, why it's one of the most effective approaches in psychology, and most importantly, how you can start using its core ideas right away to feel calmer, clearer, and more in control. Let's break it down. Section 1. What is cognitive behavioral therapy? Alright, let's start with the basics. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is a type of talk therapy that focuses on how your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all connected. Put simply, CBT is a structured, goal-oriented approach to mental health that focuses on the connection between your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Developed in the 1960s by psychologist Aaron Beck, it's rooted in the idea that our perceptions shape our reality. A bit like ancient philosophical wisdom from Stoics who said, it's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. Let me give you a quick example. Imagine your friend walks past you in the hallway without saying hi. Your brain might automatically think, they're mad at me. I must have done something wrong. They hate me now. That thought makes you feel anxious and sad. So this can make you avoid your friend the next day. That's the behavior. Now your friendship actually gets worse, which proves your negative thought was right. But what if you learn to question that automatic thought? What if you thought instead, maybe they didn't see me. Maybe they're having a tough day. I'll text them later. Same situation, totally different outcome. That's CBT in action. Catching and changing the thoughts that cause problems. This is the cognitive behavioral therapy overview. Your thoughts create your emotions influence your behaviors, and your behaviors can reinforce your thoughts. CBT teaches you to break negative cycles and create positive ones. Section 2. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected. At the heart of CBT is a simple but life-changing idea. What you think affects how you feel and what you do. For example, if you think, I'm going to fail this presentation, you might feel anxious and then avoid preparing or cancel altogether. But if you shift to, I'm nervous but I've prepared and I can handle this, your anxiety might still be there, but now you act despite it. This is a CBT approach to mental health. You don't have to wait to feel better to start living better. You can change your actions and your thoughts to shift your emotions over time. Section 3. How cognitive behavioral therapy works. Moving on to how cognitive behavioral therapy works. It's all about identifying and challenging those automatic negative thoughts that fuel emotions and actions. The CBT process involves collaboration between you and a therapist, or even self-help techniques, to break the cycle. Let's walk you through the cognitive behavioral therapy process and its steps, beginning with Step 1. Identify the problem. First, you and your therapist figure out what you're struggling with. Maybe it's anxiety, depression, panic attacks, or obsessive thoughts. You get specific about when it happens and how it affects you. Step 2. Notice your thoughts. This is where you become a detective of your own mind. You start paying attention to what you're thinking when you feel bad. These are called automatic thoughts. They pop up so fast you barely notice them. In CBT sessions, this is often the first homework assignment. Write down your negative thoughts. Step 3. Challenge those thoughts. Here's where it gets interesting. You learn to question your thoughts like a scientist. Is this thought actually true? What's the evidence for it? What's the evidence against it? Am I jumping to conclusions? This is one of the key cognitive behavioral therapy techniques. It's called cognitive restructuring, but really it's just learning to talk back to your brain. Step 4. Replace with realistic thoughts. With this, you're not just trying to think positive. That's fake and doesn't work. Instead, you're finding more balanced, realistic thoughts. Instead of, everyone thinks I'm stupid, extreme and probably not true, you might think, some people might not like my idea and that's okay. I have value beyond one presentation. Step 5. Change your behavior. The behavioral part of CBT means actually doing things differently. If anxiety makes you avoid situations, CBT helps you gradually face them. If depression makes you stay in bed, CBT helps you create small, doable activities. Actions change feelings just as much as thoughts do. Step 6. Practice and repeat. Cognitive behavioral therapy works fast through practice. The more you catch negative thoughts and replace them, the more automatic it becomes. Your brain literally creates new pathways. This is how cognitive behavioral therapy rewires the brain, through repetition and consistency. Section 4. 9 benefits of cognitive behavioral therapy. Here's what CBT effectiveness in therapy looks like. 1. Cognitive behavioral therapy is used to treat anxiety. CBT is one of the best treatments for all types of anxiety: social anxiety, generalized anxiety, and panic attacks. It teaches you that your anxious thoughts aren't facts and gives you tools to calm your nervous system. 2. Cognitive behavioral therapy is good for depression. CBT helps with depression by breaking the cycle of negative thinking that keeps you stuck. It's therapy to change negative thoughts that tell you you're worthless or hopeless. Studies show CBT can be as effective as medication for mild to moderate depression. 3. CBT is effective for stress management. When life gets overwhelming, CBT gives you practical tools to handle stress without falling apart. You learn to prioritize, problem solve, and keep perspective. 5. How CBT treats phobias. If you're scared of heights, spiders, or flying, CBT uses something called exposure therapy, where you gradually face your fear in a safe way until your brain learns it's not actually dangerous. 6. CBT for PTSD helps you process traumatic memories and change the beliefs trauma creates, like "I'm not safe" or "it was my fault." A specific type called trauma-focused CBT is especially effective. 7. CBT for obsessive-compulsive disorder teaches you to resist compulsions and sit with uncomfortable thoughts without acting on them. Over time, this reduces the power of obsessions. 8. CBT helps you identify triggers, develop coping skills, and change the thought patterns that lead to using substances. 9. CBT teaches you to be your own therapist. One of the core cognitive behavioral therapy goals is empowerment. Over time, you learn to apply CBT tools on your own, making it one of the best forms of cognitive behavioral therapy self-help. You don't have to depend on a therapist forever. It helps you build lifelong skills to navigate setbacks, regulate emotions, and stay grounded, even on hard days. Section 5. Cognitive behavioral therapy techniques and tools you can use. Let's get super practical now with some cognitive behavioral therapy exercises and tools you can actually use, even without a therapist. These are cognitive behavioral therapy self-help techniques to help you enjoy a clear, stress-free, and anxiety-free life. 1. Thought records. When you feel bad, write down: what happened? What did I think? How did I feel? What did I do? Then write a more balanced thought. This simple exercise is incredibly powerful for how CBT changes thinking patterns. 2. Behavioral activation. This is huge for depression. Make a list of activities that used to make you feel good. Even tiny things like taking a shower, listening to music, or calling a friend. Then schedule one each day and do it, even if you don't feel like it. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. 3. Exposure hierarchy. For anxiety and phobias, list situations you avoid from least scary to most scary. Start with the easiest one and practice until it feels manageable, then move up. This is how cognitive behavioral therapy improves mood by proving your fears wrong. 4. Breathing and grounding. When panic hits, CBT teaches specific techniques. 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, or the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. Name 5 things you see, 4 you can touch, 3 you hear, 2 you smell, 1 you taste. Section 6. How cognitive behavioral therapy changes your brain. Here's what makes CBT so powerful. It actually changes your brain through neuroplasticity, which means your brain can rewire itself based on what you practice. Every time you think a thought, your brain creates a pathway. The more you repeat that thought, the stronger it becomes, like a trail through the woods that gets clearer with use. With depression or anxiety, your brain has strong pathways for negative thoughts. They're like highways. Positive or realistic thoughts are tiny, overgrown paths you rarely use. CBT deliberately creates new pathways. Every time you catch a negative thought and replace it with a realistic one, you're building a new trail. At first it's hard, but with practice, that realistic pathway gets stronger until your brain starts going there automatically. Brain scans confirm this. fMRI studies show that after CBT, overactive fear centers like the amygdala calm down, while the prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, gets stronger. This is why CBT works faster than some other therapies. You're actively practicing new patterns daily, not just talking about problems weekly. Most people see significant improvement in 12 to 20 sessions, often within just a few months. If this helped you understand cognitive behavioral therapy, give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need it. Subscribe for more mental health content that's actually useful and easy to understand. Drop a comment below. Have you tried CBT? What techniques have helped you? What's one thought you'd like to reframe this week?